Ladies and gentlemen, it's another Tuesday night, so you know what night that is. That is when the Linc'd podcast comes on to the Sideline Sports Network airwaves, where we talk everything about the Philadelphia Eagles, the 13-1 Philadelphia Eagles, stacking up another win against the Chicago Bears this past Sunday. Going into this Christmas Eve game, going to be a big game. If the Eagles win one of their next three, they will secure the number one seed and have home field advantage throughout the playoffs. So a lot of big important stuff, and I know you guys noticed that we got a different face in the building, but he's been in this show before, filling in for Lindy. We got Big E, we got Eric Wilson joining us. What's going on, Big E?
Man, I sometimes feel like I'm not doing our team enough justice. I ain't on here enough. I'm gonna make that a resolution for 2023 that the Linc'd podcast becomes a priority, man. Because look, man, we sitting at 13-1 right now, and I mean, for all the talk of the question marks that have been answered this year, for the decisions that Howie Roseman and that front office has made, man, I feel it is, part of my responsibility to make sure that I don't get a chance to really bloviate, as I was told last night, about how good and successful our team is. And I try to remain humble because any given Sunday, we know things can happen. But at this moment, the fact that it's Eagles Cowboy week and we got to deal with these ridiculous people who just feel like they run the world and they're America's team, man, I'm tired of them. I've been tired of them for years, Philly Jim. Oh, they can work on my damn nerve. And here's the thing. It's like they don't bother us until it's the week that they got to play us. And it's like, where y'all been the last 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks? I ain't heard from y'all. Y'all winning just as much as we are. Your boy Dak is back. You got Zeke and you got Pollard. You only got one wide receiver in CD Lamb, but y'all actually making some noise solely because of y'all's defense. Man, I'm so tired of this.
Did make enough noise against the Jaguars, but I guess we're not gonna get into that too much. I actually read a story. That there was a employee from the Philadelphia Eagles that sent cheesesteaks and stuff down to Doug Peterson in Jacksonville.
Yes.
Thank you for beating the Cowboys. I thought that was pretty funny, but let's get right into it. So the Eagles, it was kind of an ugly game against the Chicago Bears. The Eagles hold on to a 25-20 victory. Jalen Hurts threw a couple interceptions. You could see that the weather was playing quite a factor. It was very windy, very, very cold. I think Jalen Hurts also said in his post-game interview that he had never played in weather this cold before. Played in some cold weather in Philly, but I guess Philly don't got nothing on the Windy City, according to what a lot of these guys are saying. But still, for a game that wasn't to his standards, 366 yards passing in the game, 3 rushing touchdowns. Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown both over 100 yards receiving in the game as well. So they did what they had to do to get the win and get to 13-1. So they do control their own destiny over the next 3 games. They only have to win 1 game, and they will secure the number 1 seed in the NFC playoffs. So the road to the Super Bowl will go through Philadelphia if they do win 1 more game this season. So this game also resulted in, an injury by Jalen Hurts. They are monitoring his shoulder. He is up in the air for Saturday if he is going to play. So, Big E, what are your thoughts on this situation? Do you think that the Eagles should play it safe, or if Jalen Hurts feels like he can go, would you continue to play him? How would you play out this situation?
Let me look at you when I say this. Every once in a while, Philly Jim, we need to protect ourselves from ourselves. And I think that's where the obstacle lies. We've seen what Jalen Hurts has done, and I appreciate our head coach, Nick Sirianni, praising what this young man is capable of, saying how he recovers and he heals faster than most people. And, he's not on the same level as the rest of us mere mortals, but it's the fact that look at where we're at right now. Our goal is not to win the NFC East. Our goal is not to win the NFC Championship game. Our goal is, for the second time in 5 years, to win everything. And so in this moment, what I have to look at is we have, of course, Dallas, who is still playing for everything. They're still trying to win the division. Newsflash, it ain't happening. We got the Cowboys, the Saints, and the Giants. Okay? And our last 2 games are at home. This is our last road game this season. We're home for the next 2. We get the bye, hopefully. And then, as you said, the road to the Super Bowl goes through Lincoln Financial. So what does that mean? What that means is all we have to do is get through this. Once we get through Dallas, we're home. We ain't got to go nowhere. We ain't got to get on no flights. We can sleep on our own beds. We get to go where we want to go, do what we want to do, be in our own facility, and prepare for the matchups. I think a lot of people don't really gravitate to the fact of the comfortability piece. You know what I mean? When you comfortable in your surroundings, when you with your people, when you doing what you love to do, you ever notice how your shoulders kind of come down a little bit? You a little more relaxed, take a little bit of that bass out your voice. You just feel so much more like, yo, this is where I'm supposed to be. That's exactly what our Philadelphia Eagles are right now. Really quick to touch on the Bears and the Eagles. You know, that game, you and I had the pleasure of speaking to the voice of the Philadelphia Eagles, Mr. Mel Reese, ahead of the matchup against the game. And for those who didn't see it, make sure you check it out on Philly Jim's, all of his social media. Check it out on the Sideline Sports Network. But, you know, you could even see within him that there was a sense of, we just gonna ride this wave. And I look at that and I say, okay, we knew what we were walking into. The Bears were playing so fast, so loose. They had nothing to play for. What are they playing for? Draft picks? They got to build around Justin Fields. And our defense, you know, there were a lot of factors. Could it have been that Justin was like, look, I don't care if this team's 13-1. They're no different than any other team that we played. And maybe our defense, maybe we got a little bit inside of our head. It was a wake-up call that was necessary because of who we're playing this Saturday. But when I look at where we currently stand, again, 13-1, this is our last road game. So this is a hurdle. It's an obstacle. Once we overcome it, whether it be with Jalen because he is stubborn like most Philly people are, or we run out Minshew Mania for Christmas Eve. To me, all I ask is 2 things that I've been asking all season long. Be consistent, beat the Cowboys. We know what Minshew Mania can do. So let's see what he's about.
For a backup. Yeah, I mean, when you look at the backup in the league, he's very serviceable. And, you know, you have Goddard is also been activated to the roster, so he's going to be back this week. So, you know, just keep the game plan nice and simple for him if he does get the start. And, you know, I think with the way that Dallas has been playing for the last couple of weeks, you can't really be so encouraged by the Cowboys. I mean, very much struggling in that game against the Houston Texans. Really should have lost that game, and then their problems kind of carried over to Jacksonville. And, you know, you had Micah Parsons, we'll talk about his comments later, kind of just creating more distractions and not really focusing on the team. So I actually think even with Minshew and certainly with Hurts, if he can go, the Cowboys are extremely beatable. And if not, surely Minshew can beat the Saints. Surely he can beat the Giants to close out the season. So yeah. I don't think that you want to have a situation where you're forcing Hurts to play. And even if you're not really necessarily forcing him, it's like protecting him from himself. I mean, you have to look back at similar situation with Robert Griffin III when he had his knee injury. You know, young guy, very dynamic player as a rookie, and then he was never the same because the team could not protect Robert from himself. And Jalen Hurts is a 24-year-old quarterback. We've seen like the leaps and bounds that he has taken this season, and I just think that he's a guy that wants to be great. So it's not really worth to risk his whole career, you know, for this one game because we have the team to get it done. And I think we should just do what we've been doing this season, and I think everything will work itself out.
And you know what, Jim, this is what I'm gonna say to you as well. Let's go even further back, or let's keep in that same era. You were talking about RG3. Let's talk about Carson. Carson was the odds-on MVP. Carson was Mr. Houdini. Carson was doing it all. And then what happened? That one injury he sustained is what a lot of people are saying, that pivotal moment when
never the same player.
Never the same player. And again, he was having an MVP type year. He was having moments where you were excited to see what he was capable of doing.
Oh, he was
and then this happened. Right. And then this happened. And it was like, well, wait a minute, where are you? So I just want Jalen, very much like you, and I'm sure everybody out there. We want Jalen. I want Jalen at 100% in Arizona. I don't want Jalen 100% or even 80% right now when the team has done their job. If we were still vying for a playoff spot, I think we'd be having a different conversation. But we're not. Okay? We've sewn up a playoff spot, and we're about to sew up home field advantage. So at this particular point in time, what I'm saying is, let's keep the momentum going. But if there is a player or two or three that could use just a week, just to kind of not be on their feet, not to have to go through the rigmarole that you go through every day in practice, I think it benefits us down the stretch because, again, it's the comfortability factor. We are home we're home after Christmas Eve. We ain't going nowhere. We ain't got to travel to Seattle. We ain't got to travel to Houston. We ain't got to travel to Tennessee or travel out to, San Francisco. No. Everybody else got to get on a plane and come to Lincoln Financial. And as far as him, he suffered this sprained shoulder against the Bears. It's a part of the game, man. We all know it. And I'm just thankful it's only a sprained shoulder. Try saying that 3 times fast because I can't do it.
I mean, it doesn't seem like that serious of an injury, thankfully, according to what we do know. But you don't want to see it get worse.
Exactly. But I look at that and I'm like, okay, bro, you have given us more than we could have asked for this season because there were so many question marks surrounding you.
Yeah, for every single one of them.
Right. For those like myself who were skeptical about the hiring of our head coach, I didn't officially send my apology letter. But at the same time, in this moment, we are on course to do great things. We are on course to move the needle and remind people 5 years ago, we were in this exact same spot. Now, I know things have happened in that time frame and, from the statue to the firing to what are we going to do with Carson to can Jalen do more than just come out the pocket and go right and throw the ball? I mean, it was about the timing. And so now we've got a 1,000-yard wide receiver in A.J. Brown. Thank you, Tennessee. We've got a 1,000+ yard running back in Miles Sanders.
Mm-hmm.
And we got a quarterback who is protected, first off, by the best offensive line. Yes, I'll say it, and I'll say it again for y'all in the cheap seats. The best offensive line in the entire NFL, led by our center, Jason Kelce, second only to Lane Johnson.
Has a lot of back in 2 years.
Thank you. So it just seems like when you look at this team offensively, and we haven't even got to the defense. When you look at this team offensively, it's like, wow, they really, Howie Roseman, you really you crafted this whole thing together. Mm-hmm. And then you flip it over to our defense, man. All I'm saying is this. I'm going to give you 4 words, and if you don't know, you better ask somebody. Fletcher Cox and Brandon Graham. That's all you need to know, okay? Shout out to C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Shout out to our rookie Blankenship. I mean, but Hargraves.
You got Josh Sweat and you got Hassan Reddick. Both guys over double-digit sacks this year.
Yes, sir.
So definitely outstanding team, and Howie Roseman did a lot of very impressive moves for the offseason. So I do have to say, though, I mean, you mentioned A.J. Brown with the over 1,000 yards, over 1,200 yards and 10 touchdowns this season, career high for him. I still was waiting for one of the people from our team in Sideline Sports to make his apology, Mr. John Shear.
He ain't making no apology.
I tweeted at him. I said, "It's still time to make the apology, sir." But he is not. He's not going for it. I don't know.
John ain't making no apology.
I don't know. I mean,
listen.
We have the gauntlet. We have the Gauntleys award show coming up. We're going to do it the week before the Super Bowl. So I don't know if John wants to be stubborn. He might have to get the nomination for the Sports Moron of the Year. He might. I don't know.
Listen. When I see him later tonight, I'll make sure to let him know, hey, bro, you still got time to get your apology into my man, Philly Jim. I'm just going to let you know. So,
but yeah,
I'll let him know. I'll holler at him.
Definitely. So with Christmas season going on and holiday season and everything, the one thing that always gets brought up when it comes to the Eagles and Eagles fans is the fact that they booed Santa Claus and they threw stuff and all that kind of stuff. So you had this past week, I think, actually, last weekend, you actually had Buffalo Bills fans throwing snowballs, or I can't remember what game it was, but they were throwing snowballs, and they actually had to stop the game because they were throwing the snowballs. So this whole thing with the Santa Claus thing, it was a very, very long time ago. You know, this happened in like the 50s or the 60s, and it continues to get brought up. The Santa Claus was actually just kind of out there making a clown of himself from all the research that I did on this whole situation. And it's just kind of like people were not booing him just to boo Santa Claus. Like, I don't think anybody with sense would do that. But if you are a person that has a poor performance, or a team that has, just like in sports, if the team has a poor performance, people are getting upset about getting booed. That's why it's one of my biggest pet peeves when you ever see players complaining. They're like, oh, you know, why are the fans booing us? Well, you're getting booed because you're having a poor performance. And the team was very bad that year, keep in mind. So the frustration was there. And the fact that you're going to get up here and make a clown of yourself and you just want to bring all this stupid attention on yourself, it just kind of agitated the fans to another level. So I just think it's kind of stupid that people are continuing to bring this up, because when you look around any sports in the world, you always have fans that are, you know, not the nicest guys, and they're doing stuff that is kind of questionable at any games. It's not just Philly, but it's like when it comes to Philly, there's like everything is more amplified with us. They always want to find a reason to hate on us for no reason. So I just look at that and say, it doesn't really bother me when people are saying that we're the worst fans, because usually when people say we're the worst fans, they're bringing up the same old things. Oh, you know, you're violent, you're angry, you booed Santa Claus. And it's the same crap. It's just the same crap over and over. It's just regurgitated. So after so many years of hearing it, it just gets to a point where it doesn't mean anything. So you're just like, oh, okay, we booed Santa Claus. Okay. Is that all you got?
Right.
So it doesn't really move me at all anymore.
I'll tell you right now, you know it's bad when there had to be a commercial made between Swoop and Santa Claus so that the world could finally get over this. Yet you still have these trolls who want to go out here and talk about it.
They're still not over it.
I love talking to people who, when they see me dressed like this, they always got that facial expression of, oh, and I'm like, what is your problem? They're like, oh, you're an Eagles fan. and I like, talk to me. And then, so my immediate response to them, as soon as they say that to me is, who's your team? And then they tell me who their team is. And then that for me is just instant ammunition. Because as much as people like to pick apart our team for booing Santa Claus, for being irrational, and then for, oh, you guys were the first team to put an actual jail in your arena. Okay. What did I say at the beginning of the show? Sometimes you need to protect yourself from yourself. That's exactly what it is. So because we decided to protect our own, as opposed to letting some other clowns try and do something, you know what I mean? It's like people they always want to come at us for what we do as fans. But we can come at you for what your team hasn't done. And people just, for some,
he or she that lives in a glass house shouldn't throw stones.
Oh, amen. Amen to that. But what I love more than anything is numerous times, like I said, I've gone in bars, I've gone in places, and, listen, I represent. It's who I am. And there's always that one guy or girl who just starts rolling their eyes. I'm going to tell everybody this right here on the LinkedIn podcast tonight. And I'm going to look in the camera so everybody knows when I say this. If you see me dressed like this and you roll your eyes, you have given me an open invitation to come up to you and start blasting you on your football team. I'm just going to let you know moving forward, a public service announcement on the LinkedIn podcast. If you see me like this and you roll your eyes, just know we fitting to have a conversation. And Lord, please don't be a Cowboys fan. Because then I'm gonna
you have so many stereotypes about Philly fans that it's basically ridiculous. That people heard it from somewhere else. They heard it from social media. They heard it from TV. They heard it from ESPN, NFL Network, whatever the case may be. It's like I hear people saying all the time, like, "Oh, well, you don't want to wear another team's gear like in Philly. Like if you wear a Cowboys jersey, you're going to get shot." I see people that, and it always disgusts me when I see it. And I'm always just like, oh, like I'm about to throw up in my mouth when I see somebody wearing a Cowboys shirt. I'm like, what the hell are you guys doing here? Like, you guys need to go somewhere else. But there's all this stuff about, well, you're going to get shot if you wear a Cowboys jersey. It's just so ridiculous. And people they take what they hear and they just run with it.
I'm going to say this to you. And you know this, but again, this is for your audience. So I have said to numerous people, there are 32 stadiums in the NFL there are 32 stadiums in this country that house NFL teams. I will go to 31 of them dressed as I am here today on your show. I will not go to Jerry World. The only exception.
What's your reason for that?
Oh, because I won't. Because I'm telling you right now.
You won't be able to control yourself?
I'm telling you, yes, the other side of me will definitely come out because I'm going head to toe in Philly's gear. I'm talking from the shoes to the socks to the drawers.
You're going to get thrown out.
Yeah. And it will be for the wrong reason. That is not, I'm better than that. I have matured. I have grown. But as we always say, there's an exception to the rule. The exception to the rule is this. Should it ever come to fruition that we, the Philadelphia Eagles, have to go into Jerry World in the NFC Championship game, yeah, I'm going head to toe. I may not make it out of there, but I'm going.
But you're going to make it in
there. And you best believe I'm going to walk in one way. I'm probably going to walk out a different man if I'm walking out at all. But that is the exception to the rule. But I will never. I will not go. I have, because I know myself. To walk in that sea of blue and gray and have to look at this, send me to Detroit, send me to Cleveland.
Doing what you're talking about on Christmas Eve, I'm pretty sure.
And guess what? Listen, if they want to come to us, that's fine. Because, see, I'm surrounded
They might
by
have
Kelly
to.
Green.
They might have to come to Philly a second time. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Exactly. But yes, I you could give me free tickets. I'm not going. I'll give them to you. Philly Jim, go have fun. My blessings to you, brother. If you need bail money, holler at your boy. But I'm not going.
All right. So that brings us to about the halfway point of the show here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a short commercial break. When we get back, we're going to it's funny that we ended up talking about the Cowboys in this segment. We're going to talk some more about the Cowboys and this whole matchup that we have on Christmas Eve. Things to look out for, things to talk about for this game. But first, a word from Fanatics.
Sports fans are gearing up and saving big at Fanatics.com, the world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear. From all the leagues, teams, and players you love, unique one-of-a-kind designs exclusively by Fanatics, and autographed collectibles from today's biggest stars shipped directly to your home. Join Fanatics Rewards for free to earn fan cash on every purchase. Shop now and for a limited time, get 20% off all orders. Fanatics.com, officially licensed everything.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are here on December 20th, 2022. We are 5 days away from Christmas. This is your last opportunity to do that last-minute Christmas shopping. You're going to have to do that clutch 2-minute drill because you are literally not going to have time. So make sure you guys check the links in the description and everything to do your holiday shopping with Fanatics, proud partner of the Linc'd podcast and the Sideline Sports Network. So we all know what it is. There's been so much noise about this game. This has been one of the most hyped games for the season. We mentioned earlier Jalen Hurts being injured. That does change some things. So with Jalen Hurts before the injury, the Cowboys were 1-point favorites. That line, the betting line, has moved from 1 to 6 in favor of the Cowboys. So Vegas is putting a lot of faith in the Cowboys against Gardner Minshew if he does get the start. Although we have seen for the last couple weeks, I mean, and even before, I just haven't been too impressed by the Cowboys. The last time I saw them play where I was like, wow, this team is really looking impressive was against the Minnesota Vikings. And the real question is, was I very impressed by the Cowboys or was I very unimpressed by the Vikings? I don't know. But that was really the last time I could say, yeah, the Cowboys are looking good. They're humming all cylinders. Very much struggling against the Houston Texans. I mean, you're talking about a 1-win team. You get an interception against Dak Prescott. You literally get the ball on like the 5-6 yard line. You completely stall out. You don't even come away with a field goal. That's just the way bad teams find a way to lose games. And, you know, Dak had a winning drive in that game. But when it mattered, Dak has been struggling. And he struggled. He threw the pick 6. He puts the ball in harm's way. Since he came back in week 10, I think it was, he has the most interceptions in the league with 9 or 10. The next closest quarterback has 5. So Dak Prescott is turning the ball over at an
11
at a alarmingly high rate. So you have to take that into account when you're looking at this game, because people are going to say, oh, well, the Eagles are not going to be the same team without Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is unbelievable, and he's been the MVP for a lot of people. But if you're giving the ball away at the rate that Dak has, and we have no reason to think that he's not going to, because pretty much since he's been back, always turning the ball over, always putting the ball in harm's way. So you're not going to make Gardner Minshew have to beat you if you're basically just beating yourself. So I think that's something that you got to look at, because you might have got away with it against the Houston Texans. You might have got away with it against some of the other teams you played. But if you turn the ball over at least twice or more against the Philadelphia Eagles, they are going to make you pay for it, because this team knows how to execute off of turnovers. They have one of the best turnover differentials in the league. So we turn you over and we put points on the board. Happens almost every time. So I think that for this game, Dak has to play a clean game. He has to play probably the cleanest game that he's played this season, or it's going to be trouble for the Cowboys. And I think it's going to be trouble with or without Jalen.
Oh, clearly. There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it whatsoever. Listen, I'm looking over everything right now, man. Here's the thing. We are 4th in rushing yards.
Mm-hmm.
We are 2nd in points this season. And we are 3rd with our third down percentages at 47.3. That's just our offense. We've put up 409 total yards, average, of course, per game this season. Okay. Now, our passing yards is only 235, which ranks 11th in the entire NFL.
Yeah, we lead the league in scoring.
Right. But then let's flip it over to what people want to talk about. Because, see, I know we're going to get to this guy next.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought the matchup was going to be watching Micah going up against Jalen. But now I want to flip the script. Because what I want to look at right now is I want to look at how our defense stacks up against Dak. Now, we do know that along with Jalen, C.J. Gardner-Johnson is questionable for this game. A man who was very impactful.
He was leading the league in interceptions at the time he got hurt.
Right. When we played before. All right. Do you realize, and you know this, Philly Jim, but this is for everybody else. In passing yards, our defense is first. We have only allowed, for this entire season, average 172.4 passing yards. That's it. All right. We've only allowed 19 points a game. That's it. And our third down percentage, this is probably one of the few stats where Dallas is actually above us, but it's by a very small margin. Whereas they are for third down percentages, their defense 36.9, we are 37.6. Okay. But
that close, huh?
That close. So let's look at the numbers, because here's the thing that I am very interested in seeing. Where Dallas has, quote unquote, a two-headed tandem of Pollard and Zeke.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We still haven't seen the best of Boston Scott or Kenneth Gainwell. Why? Because somebody finally told our guy, my friend and yours, Miles Sanders, hey, run north and south. Stop trying to run east and west. It don't work for you. East and west ain't your thing. Take the rock, bury your head in someone's chest, and bowl through that defense.
Great season.
Happens. He's getting 4 or 5, averaging 6 yards a carry. I mean, this is what we need. He has finally come into his own. And then you got Batman on the left and Batman on the right. Whether you throw to 6 or you throw to 11, someone's coming down with it. And it don't matter if you double team A.J. Brown. It don't matter if you got my man who knows how to tap dance and do the toe drag swag to catch the ball as he's going out of bounds, Devontae Smith.
Devontae Smith is unbelievable, man. He only needs 99 yards over the next 3 games to have his first 1,000-yard season of his young career. So he's also been impressive.
The slot guy, number 16, Quez. Say it with your chest, Watkins.
He's got some jets. He can run.
That brother got a different gear. Okay.
And don't forget, you got the security blanket. You got Goddard coming back this week. He's been out. You get him back.
We got to the tight ends. Whether it be Stoll, whether it be Calcaterra, or whether it be Dallas Goddard coming back. It doesn't, it's like the depth that we have. Right. The depth that we have for our offense is something that Dallas, the Cowboys, have to contend with. Because listen, if Leighton Vander Esch doesn't play, that's going to prove to be a very key piece. I think they activated Tyron Smith. I think they activated him.
They're right.
I know he's supposed to be.
He was placed on injured reserve.
Oh, he is on. Okay, all right. So what do you got? You got Micah, which people have finally understood. Okay, all you have to do is just track where he is and make sure you have an extra blocker on that side. That's it. All right. The obstacle that we face is it's a divisional matchup. They came to us and we beat them. So you know that the rematch is going to be something spectacular. And as I always say, when it comes to division games, you throw the rule book, the playbook out the window because anything and everything is possible. And because Dallas knows right now that in order for them to even have the able to sniff the division crown, right? For them, it's like their beginning is our ending. That's the way I look at it. Okay,
I don't think they're on par with us.
They're not. But if you look at it from a tale of two teams, it's like they need this. This game means more to them.
Oh, they needed a lot more than we do. We only need to win one of the next three.
But my point is, it's like they needed to lose to Jacksonville to prepare them for us on Saturday. We've been consistent this whole season. And again, I go back to what I said earlier. We took care of our business. We said, ain't nobody in this league better than us. We gonna show everybody that you put in front of us why we are the top team in this league. We lost a divisional matchup. Okay, I'm fine with that. Did we have a tough time against Indianapolis in Indianapolis? Yes. Did we have a tough time against Houston on a short week on Thursday night against a one-win team Texans? Yes. Was the game on Sunday against the Bears not one of our best showings? You're damn right it was. But what do those three things have in common? We beat them. We did what was necessary to beat them. We
even
beat
when
everybody.
we're still on.
Right. We beat everybody in the AFC South. Dallas can't say that. Okay?
The Jacksonville Jaguars win over the Cowboys was their first win over an NFC team since week 1 of 2018.
There you go.
Insane. So shout out to Dougie P for helping us out there. So once an Eagle, always an Eagle. But you want to know something? It's time for the main event of this show. So Micah Parsons. And this might have something to do with the Cowboys losing to the Jaguars. You were doing all this chirping and going on, podcasts with Von Miller and saying, well, is it Jalen Hurts or is it the team? Is it the team around him? The team is stacked. It's the system and the team. First of all, I see what he's trying to do here. But what he doesn't realize is that's actually not even an insult. He thinks it's an insult. But when you're saying a guy is a system guy or a system quarterback, what you don't understand is you're trying to take credit away from somebody for maintaining stability in this offense. Jalen Hurts, dating back to high school, has not played in the same system in 2 years. So you give him time to adjust to the scheme, and you see what he can do. So the Eagles have stability on both sides of the ball. And Jalen Hurts is wheeling and dealing. If he's taking everything that the defense gives to him, he's not turning the ball over a lot. He's only got 5 interceptions the whole season. Dak Prescott has more than twice that and a lot less games because remember, he missed a lot of games due to injury. So
he was out for 4 or 5 games. Yeah.
Where's your system at? Where's your system at? Where's Dak's system? So you're hating on a guy for no reason that's basically just taking a huge step forward. And you're trying to create headlines and stuff. And that's what the Cowboys do. They create more headlines and they produce less results. That's the whole MO of the Cowboys. That's the whole MO of Mr. Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones does not care about winning. Or I'm not going to say that he flat out doesn't care about winning, but he cares more about the spotlight and all this attention and stuff than he does about the results. And all that culture that's in the Cowboys, it's become one of the most toxic cultures in sports. That's why the Cowboys have not been successful since the 90s. So it's rubbing off.
Yet they remain relevant.
Young guy. Micah will learn, but this was not something that you wanted to do because you create bulletin board material for the Eagles, and you also have another team in Jacksonville that's like, hold up a minute. You guys are disrespecting us. You're not giving us the respect that we deserve. And you look at the flip side, what was Jalen's response to all the comments? He was like, we ain't worried about that. We focus on the Bears. We focus on the Bears. We worried about the Bears. We ain't worried about that.
Same thing Merrill said to us.
And now
we focused on the Bears.
He's saying all this stuff, and he wasn't focused on what he should have been. We saw the result Sunday, how that ended up for the Cowboys. And that, in the end, is going to be very, very costly because you cannot afford to lose games like you lost to the Jacksonville Jaguars. You can't afford to lose games like you lost to the Green Bay Packers, who are a 5-6 win team that's struggling. You can't afford to lose games to teams that are worse than you because you have to keep pace with the Philadelphia Eagles, who just continue to stack these wins. So it was a big mistake by Micah. And I also don't think he realizes that he's completely wrong. And the shade he was trying to throw ended up being a big failure because it's actually not even shade.
Right. And that's what happens. It's one of those things where you want to, I mean, in the moment, listen, the brother said what he said, whether he tried to, tap dance backwards a little bit. Guess what? You spit it out your mouth. So thank you for doing that.
It's like toothpaste. You take that toothpaste out, you can't put it back in.
Exactly. What bothers me about that, though, is how many people, especially in the Philadelphia area, are going to just berate him.
Oh, yeah.
When he comes into Lincoln Financial. Because you already know. Like, here's the thing. I'm going to put it to you like this. Let's keep it simple. If Jalen was playing on Saturday, which at this point, my guesstimation is I don't think he is going to play. I think we are going to get Minshew Mania.
Right.
So let's think about it like this. If Jalen was playing on Saturday against that team and he starts lighting up that defense, the MVP chance would not be for Micah Parsons. They would be for MVP Jalen Hurts. And it would be Lincoln Financial would just erupt. Can you imagine what the storyline is going to be the Monday after Christmas when Gardner Minshew destroys that defense and Micah Parsons doesn't have the game that he typically has? That's where as a man, sometimes I think we gotta take a step back before we spit some venom out of our mouth. It's like, okay, we know what you were trying to say, and we know what you were trying to get at and what you were trying to do. Well, see, now one part of your equation is no longer in existence, So now it's been substituted by something else. And if that formula is successful, goodness gracious. I'm just saying, it's one of those, I truly believe it's going to be one of those Hulk Hogan moments that your co-host at the Gauntlet, Denzel, would say, it's going to be a Hulk Hogan moment. What you going to do, brother, when Minshew Mania runs wild? I mean, it's that. And he doesn't realize it.
Yeah, you have to also remember, as I said earlier in the show, this is very possible that we could see this team again. All right, this might not be the last time because playoffs ended today. The Dallas Cowboys would play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and Tom Brady is looking like a guy who's 45 years old. He's looking like a guy that should have stayed retired, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers does not look good. So, despite the fact Dallas has been struggling, I do think that they could beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But you have to then come to Philadelphia, who's most likely going to be coming off a bye, have extra time to prepare. That crowd is going to be giving him the business. There's going to be fans screaming at him. Is it Micah or the team? Is it Micah or the system? All this stuff. So, listen, Philly is not a place that you want to play around with come playoffs.
No.
It's one of the toughest environments ever to play in. You saw what happened with the last time that we won the Super Bowl, NFC Championship. You have all this stuff about Minnesota. Oh, well, Minnesota Miracle, Team of Destiny, this and that. And then you come into Philly and you just get stomped out.
You put up 8 points in the very first drive and then got back on the bus and put your practice squad in to say, okay, Philly, take this.
As soon as Patrick Robinson got that interception return,
it was over. It was done.
It was done.
Lights were out. Turn off the lights. The party's over.
So it's not a place that you want to play around with. So, and Micah's a great player. He's one of the players that I know, even though he says stuff like this, he is capable to back it up. So we'll have to see what kind of game that he does have. But I still don't think it was smart. I think the team is going to come pissed off, and they're going to come with something to prove. This is already a division game. It's already a big game that they have circled. You should not give them another reason to circle it. So I think it is going to be a big problem for the Cowboys and Micah Parsons.
Listen, and we're going into Jerry World. There's blood in the water. Okay? So I hope that, that team down there in Dallas, I hope they're prepared for what's fitting to happen, because I'm telling you like this. If Minshew Mania runs wild in Texas, that better be the last time we ever hear Micah Parsons say something about a team until they become truly relevant. Because right now, as I've always said, the only reason they are relevant is because, as you alluded to, Jerry Jones keeps them relevant. That's the only reason. They ain't done nothing in 25 plus years, and they genuinely, real talk, have an opportunity.
They haven't done it. I mean, Micah Parsons wasn't born the last time this team was winning Super Bowls.
I want to know how many people on that squad weren't born before that, since Dallas has done something. That's what I'm talking about.
Probably quite a few. But yeah, that does pretty much wrap us up for tonight's show. Biggie, I want to thank you once again for taking the time. Do you have any last things that you would like to add before we sign off for the night?
Hey, man, as always, it's a blessing to be a part of this great show. Thank you so much for letting me be a part of the LinkedIn podcast. Shameless plug, your man Eric Wilson for the Sports Arena. Monday and Wednesday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern, on Facebook, part of the Sideline Sports Network. Man, many blessings to you, my brother. Stay safe up there in Philly. Hey, if you feel up to it, send your brother a cheesesteak from Jim's. Hey, no, that's what I wanted to ask you.
Jim's actually was set on fire.
I know they were burned down, man.
They're working on getting a new location.
Okay. So do me a solid, man.
I'll get to the bottom of that. I'll get to the bottom of that for you, for sure.
No, that's all right. Hit up Delisandro's, man. Grab me a cheesesteak and just, I don't care if it's cold, send it down here to a brother, man. I got to get home and get me one. My stomach's been grumbling. And, man, we got to get you some playoff appearances, my brother, because, if as we know it to be the course, Philly is going to be the home for the NFL playoffs for the NFC. There's one man who's got to be there, and if it ain't going to be me, it damn sure better be Philly Jim.
Absolutely, man. Got to represent the network, all the work that we've done. It's been over a year. I think a couple of days ago it marked the year since, the Gauntlet team and everybody over there, Jay and Dom and Tyler and JJ later on joined the team. So a lot of great things have happened on and off the air. There's some things that people haven't seen. You don't have to always have an audience for everything that goes on, but a lot of great things have happened in this network and everyone here. It's just a pleasure to be a part of everything. And, going into 2023, we're going to, continue to build on things. So I hope everyone.
And I do want to say one more thing before I forget, man. I've noticed lately on IG, man, you've taken a page out of your life and you've shared it with the world. And I just want to say, man, that's a blessing. And I know you may not see it. You may not get the true validation, but I want you to know, man, you've touched a lot of people. So don't ever stop telling your story, brother, for real, because there are so many people who share in those same types of situations. And there are so many people who can take your information, take your story, apply it to themselves.
Have a responsibility, man, to has their own things that they experience in life. So whatever situation that you come through, other people might not have the exact same thing, but it might be somewhat similar. So whatever experiences that you've had can be a part of another person's survival guide, if you will. So that's why
I wanted to make sure I shared that with you, man, because I've been watching them, and that's big. That's really big, man. But anyhow, man, much love to you. Hey, Merry Christmas. We get this dub.
Everybody from the Styling Sports team.
Yes, and we gonna rock 2023 the way we do, Kelly Green style. I'll see you.
And go Birds, everyone.
Go Birds. Fly Eagles fly, baby.